They say it's not easy being green, and for our guest, he's proven he never gives up. He co-founded the party that recently voted him as their nominee in the 2020 presidential election. We're happy to be joined by the Green Party's Howie Hawkins. It's good to see you, sir.
It's good to see you. Thanks for having me.
So you've had a very interesting career, a very varied resume. Your activism goes back to the 1960s. You've been a logger until recently, a retired Teamster. What led you into a life of politics?
I got started in the 1960s coming up in the San Francisco Bay Area, and there was civil rights and then the anti-Vietnam War movement, and I was swept up into that as a teenager and became committed. At that time, we needed a party to represent regular working people that was not pro-war in Vietnam, that wasn't dragging its feet on civil rights. So I've been working on that since then.
And you represent the worker. The worker is first and foremost in your set of priorities. So how would you say that the current administration is benefiting the worker or not enough? In your view?
Donald Trump doesn't care about us. I mean, up here in upstate New York, he's twice told us if we can't find a job, we should move. So there's nothing for workers in this administration. And I would also say the Democratic Party, they represent more of the professional classes, working people. You know, the unions give them money, but we get taken for granted.
Well, I think the Trump camp would disagree because they did bring some industry back to the United States. Employment shot up greatly during his administration. So why do you say that the Trump administration is not for?
He is not. A lot of those factories he did openings at are now closed back out in the Midwest.
Now, is this due to COVID or is this just in general?
No, they were not viable. Auto parts factories.
And how would you change
this? There in Indiana and Illinois, those factories are shut.
And how would you change this? What would you do to bring jobs back to Americans?
Well, we would create enterprises that were owned by the workers. Workers are not going to shut them down, even if they're making money, to go to Mexico or China to pay themselves less. So we need to own our own jobs through cooperatives or public enterprises.
I see. And now when I say that it's not easy being green, you've run for office 24 times. Out of those 24 times, how many times have you been elected?
I haven't been elected to office any of those times, but we have made a difference. I mean, I've come close to city council as high as 48%. First time I ran, I got 3%. So we built up a base of support. I got 5% running statewide against Governor Cuomo in 2014. And that he couldn't take us for granted after that. He was trying to run up the vote to run for president. Wanted to get more than his father, Mario Cuomo, ever got. Get more than he got when he was first elected in 2010. He got less. So we had to look at what we were saying. And he adopted several positions that he had never supported or opposed, like a ban on fracking in New York State, a $15 minimum wage, and a millionaire's tax. So you don't have to win the office to make a difference. You can move the debate. You can move the ball down the field, get some first downs, even if you don't get a touchdown.
Absolutely. And your running mate, Angela Walker, she's from South Carolina. So tell me, how did you decide to run with her?
Well, I've known her since 2014. She, at that time, was a transit worker, a bus driver in Milwaukee. And she ran against David Clark, the sort of Trump-loving sheriff of Milwaukee, whose slogan was, "Don't call 911, get a gun." And Angela said, no, we need to fight crime by fighting poverty. And she ran as an independent socialist and got 20% of the vote. I've known her since then. And she's somebody I work well with. We have a rapport. You need to be teammates. And she's a working person too. She's driving a dump truck as we speak down there in South Carolina.
Now, the Green Party, its foundation, and the environment is a great part of its foundation. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Green Party and what some viewers might not understand or know about it?
Well, we're trying to represent the people and not the corporate interests that pay for the political candidates in both major parties. So we want economic justice. We think everybody willing and able to work ought to have a job, and if the private sector can't provide it, the public sector should, like we did during the Works Progress Administration during the New Deal. We think everybody should have an income above poverty, should be built into the tax structure. So if you're in poverty, the government will send you money to bring you up above the poverty line. So nobody's living in poverty. We want Medicare for all, so everybody has access to health care. And we call that an economic bill of rights. And then, of course, we're very concerned about the environment. The climate is melting down. It's a catastrophic situation that we're facing. So we call for a Green New Deal that will rebuild all of our productive systems, not just energy, but manufacturing, agriculture, transportation, and buildings, for zero carbon emissions and 100% clean energy. And we want to do it in a decade. And that's where we're going to create jobs. We've done a budget. It'll create 38 million jobs. When we released it before the COVID lockdown, we were worried, where are we going to find all these workers? Well, now people need to work. So that's how we can pull ourselves out of this coronavirus depression.
Well, I certainly appreciate you taking the time. I want to let our viewers know that you have a virtual event coming up called Filling in the Planks. That's happening on Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. It's a Zoom. It's free, but donations are certainly accepted. And that's where folks can learn more about your platform and the work that you've done thus far in the Green Party. Howie Hawkins, I want to thank you so much for joining us today, and good luck.
Thank you.
We're back after this.